Welcome back, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at the Berkley Kachi Kachi Dama lure. Now, I may be pronouncing this incorrectly, so forgive me if I do. That's just how, when I read it, that's how I think it's supposed to be pronounced. Now, these are first of all, like I say, I did do a video on this a very long time ago when I first saw this product. But that was quite a long time ago, and I've learnt and used it a lot more since then. And in addition to that, I've got some extra new footage that I wanted to add together to give us a better review and understanding of this lure and how it works. So essentially, this is designed to be, or Berkley claim that it is the ultimate Kabura style lure. Now, a Kabura style lure, if you're not familiar with them, is simply a lure that looks like this top section here. If you imagine this sinker as a big giant thing, the same colourful, but what looks like it has eyes on either side of it, and then it has all the tassels hanging off with free hanging hooks. The only difference being is it doesn't include the option to attach a soft plastic onto that lure itself. It's just the top section and the tassels with the free hanging assistant hooks. So that's the main difference. Now, they come in a variety of colours and sizes. As you can see there, I've got orange, I've got a pink, this one's my 80 gram, which is an orange, but I have 40 gram clear UV version, so it's glow in the dark style. Goes up in lots of 20, so the lowest you go is 40, then it has 60, then it has 80, and I'm pretty sure there's a 100 gram one. Now, when it comes to, if we go to the back, let's have a look at what Berkley say. First of all, they go that the sliding aspect, because when you get these, they don't come attached like mine is. I've actually done this up, so this is a fluorocarbon leader I've attached onto it. You've got a little ring there you can tie on, and then you thread it through. There's a plastic sleeve that runs through the middle of this black lure. Sinker, my bad. And it's supposed to make a ticking sound as you retrieve it. So I'm going to just quickly put this next to the microphone and jostle it to see if you can hear if it makes any noise too. On that one, I'm not 100% sold on, mostly because when I looked at it from the underwater vision, it doesn't tend to, on a slow retrieve, it sort of sits in the place that it is at the moment. So you'd have to do a fair bit of this sort of action to try and get that to make that type of noise. And whether that noise is an attractant to the fish, I don't know whether that's absolutely correct or not. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. I don't know whether a noise like that would be attractive, but that's what's on the back. The next thing they reckon we've got is that they make the large sinker black, and they make them black so that it's supposed to draw all the attention away from the big sinker and focus mostly on the colourful bottom 5 gram sinker portion and all the tassels and stuff that come along with that. Next up we've got our assistant hooks. Very sharp. I know that because I got myself caught a few times already on it. Tied up with braid and presented nicely, which I have to agree they are. Then you have the important portion of the difference between this and most of the others is the ability to attach on a soft plastic. So when it normally what it looks like is that the sinker at the end, you've got this metal portion here which sticks out and then has a bunch of rings wrapping it around the outside. So when you want to put a soft plastic on, you can use any type of soft plastic. So at the moment I've got a good grub on there, but you couldn't use a paddle, any sort of version really. It doesn't really matter what one you put on. it's still going to be effective, but it's a simple matter of pushing it onto the attachment, and when you get it all the way to the twist, then you just start turning it until it threads itself all the way on, and once it's threaded on, it's stuck onto that lure, and it just basically hangs there like that. Sorry, the only thing I would say about this is, because when I've seen in the footage of the underwater version, the soft plastic tends to float a little bit above the assistant hook, so I reckon if they included a hook as part of this, any fish that was having a crack at it, that had a crack at the soft plastic, you might catch him more on the hook that's on the soft plastic rather than the assistant hooks that are swinging down, because this tends to sit slightly above in the action as it moves along the waters, so you would actually have to hit the whole amount to actually get them hooked. But that would have been cool, but that's not the case. So in the different, you got obviously different kind of color ranges in this one. Might be hard to see, but there's a lot of sparkles through it. The pink one I think is a bit easier to see, all the sparkly colors that come in here, and then you got all these tassels. So the concept is all these tassels and flashy portions are supposed to help attract fish's attention to this, and then by adding the soft plastic to it, you're hopefully increasing the chance of catching a fish, because you've got a soft plastic, which is a standard set you would try at a soft plastic to catch fish. Now you're adding some extras to it by putting tassels and flashy portions on it. Helps attract the attention, so you're getting benefits of two styles basically. So on that aspect, I think it's a fantastic point of view and a fantastic use of it. Now, in saying this, I have every time I use this, I generally find that I get a lot of hits on it. Now, what's hitting it, I'm not sure all the time, because obviously I don't always bring in what keeps hitting it. It could be something small, very curious about it, or it could be something that's decent, but is having a crack at the soft plastic and it's not grabbing the hooks. But I have managed to catch herring and tailor on this before, but it would suit, and as they say, it suits a wide variety of saltwater species, and I have to agree it would do. Snapper would be attracted by this. A lot of predatory fish should be attracted by this as an option. So it does hold some water, that aspect of it. It does attract attention, I have to admit. They simply say it's easy to use because you just drop it in the water and you just retrieve it. You slowly retrieve it, but as you can see when I show you the underwater vision, when you slowly retrieve, you don't get any sort of that ticking noise that they're trying to say will attract the fish unless you jiggle it. But when you retrieve it, if you do a good retrieve, the soft plastic does do a good job of moving nicely. But as I mentioned, you'll see the free swinging hook sit a little bit below that. But the combination of the two, the scent, the sound, apparently, I'm not completely sold on the sound, but that combined with the rest of it helps with providing attention. In saying this, I haven't had the opportunity to test this to the point where I could have someone fishing next to me with bait and someone on the other side fishing next to me with a lure of a standard lure, and seeing whether I'm more successful or they're more successful. And it would be very subjective too, so it's hard to say whether or not that this would produce more fish than other options, but I can say that it has produced fish for me in using it. And in every attempt there has been a fish that has had some crack at it. So I would have to say I like it. I like the idea of it. I like its presentation. I like the use of the soft plastic in it. I like the fact that it has a decent weight size to it, so you can get it out there. And it comes pre-rigged like this, so you don't have to set up certain other setups. You can go with this as an option for a lot of species, and you never know what you might get off this. And that's probably a really good positive that comes out of that one, is that it can target a lot because of how it is and what it's presented. But yeah, I would have liked to have seen a hook that was part of the soft plastic. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to cut away from this section of it, and I'm going to switch over to some vision of it under the water, so you can see what it looks like when you move it through the water, both zigzaggy, a bit of hop and retrieve, a bit of sitting on the ground and then moving, so you can just get an idea of what it looks like and how it acts and behaves underwater as well, so to help you see what's actually happening underneath the surface, so you know how to use it best to get the best effect from it. So I'm going to pause the audio for this short moment and switch over to the camera from the underwater vision. So I'll be back momentarily to talk through that bit. Here we've got I've put the lure in some water so we can have a look at some action, what it actually looks like underneath the water, and see how it appears for the fish. Now, as you can see, as I was mentioning, the soft plastic, as you're doing a retrieve, the soft plastic does a fantastic job of its appearance with its tail. In this particular case, the grub, as it flutters around in the water, but it does float higher than those assistant hooks, as you can see. So that's why I say if there was a hook on with the soft plastic, it would mean if they hit that, you're going to get make sure you hook up, other than if they miss it and they don't bite the whole lot with the assistant hooks with it. This is just jiggling it to see how you can see some of the action that's performed when you're doing that in your retrieve. I would probably do a retrieve so the soft plastic does its work, as you can see, with the flattering of its tail to try and attract the fish, and the movement of all the tassels that are hanging off it. That would probably be the best way. I'd say a combination of both. But like this, you see a lot of movement like that. But as you notice, when I let it rest on the bottom, you notice how if it was on the bottom of the sea floor, that soft plastic would float up and that tail would hang out. And if you did leave it like that, anything that has a crack will only touch the soft plastic, and you are not going to get any hits on the hook. So this is why I would think that even making one of the extra assistant hook into that plastic would probably improve the chances. But anyway, on its own, if you were to keep it moving, it would allow for it to continue this action, and hopefully when the fish has a crack at it, that it grabs the whole lot and doesn't just hit the soft plastic and you manage to hook into it. But that's why I think that when I use it, I always feel a lot of action with it, but lesser success of hooking up in accordance with how many rates of hits that I get. So I think that's the only negative I would say that I found with this, but that and the noise aspect, I don't think that really holds a lot of weight. But hopefully this gives you a little bit of a different view, better understanding of how it works under the water and what you see. So a big thank you to our Patreon members, Blake, for supporting the channel. If you're interested in doing that sort of thing, check out our Patreon. Description is linked below, and like and subscribe to our channel. We've got a lot more coming out. Thank you for listening, and I'll catch you on the next one.